Hi, welcome to Next Chapter Fitness and Nutrition. Today we're going to demonstrate a HIIT workout. HIIT is H-I-I-T, High Intensity Interval Training. So for those of you who are new to HIIT, I'm going to include modifications for almost all of the exercise, many of them anyway. I'll also show what some of the intensifications are. So what I would recommend, if it's your first time through, that you might want to do the modifications where we have those. As you get more used to the HIIT method of workout, you might want to go with the more standard versions. And then once you've become a HIIT pro, you might want to go more with the intensifications. Another way to use a workout like this to adjust it to your increasing fitness level is to do it twice. It's only about 11 minutes. As you become really used to this, you might want to do it the first time through with all of the intensifications, take a little rest, and then do it again, maybe using the modifications or the standard version. So that's a way to get a little bit more out of any workout that you have. As you're progressing your fitness level, you can often take the same workout and have it progress with you. I want to talk a little bit about that. So today, like I said, we have an 11-minute workout roughly. We have 4 sets of work followed by 1 set of cool down. Our first set of work is actually going to serve as our warm-up. Each set has 3 body weight exercises in it. We're going to do 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, then another 30, then 10, and then 30. Then we'll get a 30-second rest in between. We're going to make sure in between sets 2 and 3 that we take a little water break. Certainly pause for water wherever you need to. I'm going to get our interval timer going so that we can get started on our work. This will count us down from 10 seconds. So our first set, we're going to do high knee march, jog in place, and then jumping jacks.
2, 1, go.
So for high knee march, we're just literally marching. Now for this first set, I'm also not going to show a ton of modifications, certainly no intensities, because this is our warm-up. You can go faster if you want, but you don't need to. So we're just warming up, making sure our core is engaged. I like to use my arms too, get everything involved if I can. And then kind of a ramp up of a high knee march will be a jogging in place, which will be our next one.
3, 2, 1, rest.
So we're going to rest for 10 seconds. And so next we're going to just jog in place lightly. I tend to move
3,
on my rest
2,
because I don't like to stand
1,
still.
go.
So we're just jogging in place. So I'm not doing, it's not like it's butt kickers. I'm not going really fast, just jogging lightly. You can modify by going slower or not lifting your feet as far off the floor.
Halfway there.
So this is just getting our heart rate up, warming up our muscles. It's a great cardio workout, as well as strength.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Okay, so next up will be jumping jacks, and I will show a modification for that. We're going to have a 10-second rest period here.
3, 2, 1, go.
So the standard jumping jack is just like what you did in grade school, probably. So arms are coming up. Make sure you're controlling your shoulder muscles and they're not just flailing around. Now, modification is to do a step out, step in.
There.
This is good if you prefer low impact cardio. So if you've got joints that are achy, or if you're on a second floor apartment and the people beneath you don't want you jumping around over their heads.
3,
You can modify this way.
2, 1, rest.
All right, so that was our cool down set, our first set. So group 2 will be our first set of hardcore work. We're going to start with mountain climbers. I'm going to move my mat into place here. So we've got 30 seconds. If you need a drink, you can grab that now. I'm going to definitely do that in between sets 2 and 3. So for mountain climbers, we're going to be on the floor, so I'm going to come down. Get that
3,
strap out of the way.
2, 1, go.
So our shoulders are over our hands. We're in plank position. So a standard mountain climber, you're bringing knees up, kind of running. Modification is just to step up and back, knee up and back. So it's more of a step. So you're going a little bit slower. And again, the standard one. The intensification is to increase the speed. You can do that yourself,
3, 2,
but you're definitely trying to stay
rest.
in that straight line. All right, we have 10 seconds for our next one, which are skaters. I'm going to scoot the mat out of the way.
2, 1, go.
So for skaters, it's a lateral jump with our foot behind. It's kind of like a curtsy. So this is the standard skater. Now modification is not to jump, but to step, step, back,
Halfway there.
step with your foot back, step with your foot back. Going back to the standard. Now the intensification is not to put that back foot down. So when you leave your foot up, it's more of a balance challenge.
2,
Make sure you're engaging your core.
rest.
Okay, now our last one in this set will be back bows. So the mat's going to come back.
3, 2,
So we're going to lie
1,
flat on the floor.
go.
So for a standard back bow, my core is engaged, my glutes are engaged. I'm lifting up off the mat with my legs and my chest. Modification would be to do
Halfway there.
one limb pair each time. I'm doing opposite sides. The intensification is to leave your arms out and do all four at once. So standard,
3, 2,
what I'm
1,
going back to.
rest.
All right. So that was the end of group 2 already. We have a 30-second break. I'm going to have a water break right here and get ready for set 3. So I'm going to leave my mat out. We use that for all 3 in set 3. So set 3 is going to have an inchworm, a plank, and burpees.
Go.
Okay, so for the inchworm, I'm going to walk out on hands to a plank, come back up. And just keep doing that. So walking out. The modification is to come down to knees if you need to. Come up and back. The intensification is to walk out, do a shoulder slap, and then come back.
2, 1, rest.
So we didn't get many of those in, but at least you got to see each one of the 3. Our next one is a static plank. So I'm going to come down to the floor.
3, 2, 1, go.
So for the plank, we're going to be on elbows and toes, and we're really just holding the plank. Now modification, certainly, do it off of knees. If you're doing it off of your knees, you still want a straight line, knee to shoulder. If we're doing it off of toes, as much as possible,
Halfway there.
straight line from your heels up to your shoulders. You can pause, do it from knees, come back up to toes when that's available. So I'm looking out in front of me,
1,
ideally.
rest.
All right, so that was our plank. Our next one in this group is burpees, everybody's favorite.
3,
This one I
2,
know.
1, go.
So for the standard burpee, you come down, jump back, jump in, jump up. So down, back, jump in, jump up. For a modification, you come down, back, jump in,
Halfway there.
and just come to toes. So down, back, jump in, up to toes. If you're a burpee rock star and you want the intensification, come down, add a push-up, come in,
3,
jump.
2,
Get one more in.
1, rest.
You can also intensify by the speed on that one. That one is a good one. So we've got 30 seconds. I'm going to grab a little water. And then we have our final set of work after this. So in this next set, we have 2 types of side raises, hip raises. So I'm going to be on the mat. I'm going to start on my left side. So I'm actually going to come down now.
3, 2, 1, go.
So the standard for this, you're on your elbow. My legs are bent 90-90. I'm doing this off of my knees. My feet are stacked too. So we're just coming up like this. It's not a very big range of motion. So you're essentially in a side plank,
There.
raising your knees. Modify is just a lesser range of motion. If you want to intensify, come out so you're balancing
3,
on your feet
2, 1,
and go up from there.
rest.
So we're going to do that again, but on the right side. So I'm going to flip around,
3,
start with the standard version
2,
again.
1, go.
So I'm on knees to elbow, hip up and down. So this is a hip action, not a shoulder action. You'll see your shoulders move a little bit, but we're meant to do it from there. So I'm going to show you again the intensification in a plank on your feet,
Halfway there.
raising the hip. So core is really engaged throughout. The legs are engaged. Make sure you breathe. Should have said that earlier.
3, 2, 1, rest.
All right, and our last work in this routine is going to be high knees plus a squat touch.
1, go.
So the standard will be 1, 2, 3, 4, squat down, come up, 1, 2, 3, 4, squat down, touch with the other hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, squat touch, 1, 2, 3, 4, squat touch. Now modification is to do a march in place, squat touch. I must have gone alternate that time. Squat touch. Now if you want to be the rock star in this and intensify this,
3, 2,
you can do a jump.
1,
almost like a burpee. So that's the end of our work. We still have to do our cool down. So we're going to do, for that, just some nice cooling down, bring our heart rate down, stretch out a little bit. So we'll have about 15 more seconds before we get into that. Again, I tend to like to move even when I'm resting, especially so I don't have to back on the mat. All right, so as we start
2,
our cool down,
go.
I just like to do a step, arm circles or arm swings. Really, I'm just moving things around, letting the blood flow a little bit. I can feel my heart rate coming down back to where it
Halfway there.
normally is. So you can do any modifications on this that you like. Just feels good to go nice and slow after all of that work.
1, rest.
Our next one's going to be more of a flexibility or stretching exercise.
3,
It's a circular toe touch.
2, 1, go.
So I go down on one side, just kind of swing around, come up the other. My feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart, as you can see, and go in the other direction and back up. This just feels so good
Halfway there.
on my lower back, my hamstrings. Creates a cool pattern on the carpeting of your floor too, if you're doing this on carpeting.
3, 2, 1, rest.
So we have one final one, and that's really just, I'm going to have my arms up over
3,
my head,
2,
taking in some nice
1,
deep
go.
breaths. So arms up, I like to look up at them, come back down. I also tend to put a little walk in there. So just arms up and back,
Halfway there.
making sure that I'm breathing, bring the heart rate down. So I'm inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. This time in
Workout
and back
complete.
down. So congrats, you've completed perhaps your first high intensity interval training HIIT workout. I hope you enjoyed it. Check back again for future workouts. Bye. Be fit and be well.